No one ever noticed him. Every morning at exactly 6:10 a.m., the same man stood at the same bus stop on the corner of Pine Street and 8th Avenue. He wore a faded brown jacket, carried a small thermos in his right hand, and mostly kept his eyes on the ground. People walked past him without a second glance, office workers staring at their phones, students with headphones on, parents rushing their children along. To them, he was just part of the street. Invisible, ordinary, forgettable. His name was Daniel Carter. Daniel wasn't poor, but he wasn't comfortable either. He worked the night shift cleaning floors at a downtown office building. It wasn't the job of his dreams, but it paid the bills. After his wife passed away 3 years earlier, dreams didn't feel important anymore. Quiet routines did. Simple, steady routines that gave life structure. The bus stop was where his day ended and began. That morning was colder than usual, the kind of cold that slipped through his jacket and settled into his bones. Daniel stood with his shoulders slightly hunched, sipping coffee from his thermos, waiting for the bus that would take him home. The city was quiet except for the occasional rumble of a car or the scrape of a shovel against a sidewalk. That's when he noticed her. She stood a few steps away, holding a large purse tight against her chest. Her hair was messy, her eyes tired. She kept looking at the bus schedule, then down at her hands, then around at the people nearby. Nervous, unsure. Daniel didn't stare. He never did. But something about her felt different. Vulnerable, hesitant. Something that reached past the daily fog of anonymity he lived in. The bus arrived with a loud hiss. People lined up, tapping cards, climbing aboard. When it was her turn, she froze. I'm sorry, she said quietly to the driver. I don't have enough. The driver sighed, already annoyed. You need the full fare, ma'am. Her face flushed. She stepped back, embarrassment washing over her. The doors closed. The bus pulled away. She stood there alone as the street swallowed the sound of the engine. Daniel watched her shoulders slump. He hesitated. It wasn't a grand decision. It wasn't heroic, but it mattered. He walked over, pulled out his transit card, and gently held it out. Here, he said. You can use this. She looked up, startled. No, I can't. It's okay, Daniel said, his voice calm. I can wait for the next bus. Her eyes filled with tears she tried to hide. She nodded once and took the card with shaking hands. Thank you, she whispered. You have no idea what this means. Daniel smiled politely. Take care. She boarded the next bus, the doors closing behind her. Just like that, she was gone. Daniel stood back in his spot, hands in his pockets, heart steady. He didn't tell anyone. He didn't post about it. To him, it was just a small thing. But to Emily Reyes, it was everything. That morning, Emily was on her way to a job interview, the third one that week. She had lost her apartment 2 months earlier and was staying at a temporary shelter. Every dollar mattered. That bus fare had been the difference between showing up or giving up. When she sat down on the bus, clutching Daniel's card, she cried silently. Someone had seen her. Someone had cared. The interview went better than she expected. 2 days later, she got the call. You got the job. Life didn't magically become easy, but it moved forward. Emily worked hard, saved money, and eventually found a small studio apartment. Slowly, she rebuilt what had fallen apart. But she never forgot the man at the bus stop. Months passed. Seasons changed. Winter gave way to spring. One bright morning, Daniel stood at Pine Street again, waiting for the bus. The air felt lighter. The city smelled like rain and fresh starts. Excuse me. He turned. It was her. She looked different, healthier, confident, standing taller. She smiled, but her eyes were the same. A quiet fire behind them. I've been looking for you, she said. Daniel blinked. I'm sorry. The bus stopped, she said quickly. You helped me. You gave me your card when I had nothing. Recognition dawned on his face. Oh, I'm glad you're okay. She took a breath. Because of you, I got to an interview that changed my life. Daniel shifted uncomfortably. I just paid a fare. No, she said gently. You reminded me I mattered. She reached into her bag and handed him an envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter and a transit card, fully loaded for an entire year. I can't repay what you gave me, Emily said. But I wanted you to know, your kindness saved me on a day I was ready to disappear. Daniel felt his throat tighten. He nodded, unable to speak. The bus arrived. This time, they boarded together. They didn't become best friends. They didn't exchange numbers. Life moved on, as it always does. But every morning after that, Daniel stood a little straighter at the bus stop. And sometimes, when someone looked lost or afraid, he took a step forward. Because kindness doesn't need an audience. It just needs a moment. A single moment can ripple through a life in ways we never imagine. And sometimes, that ripple is enough to change everything.